Well, coaching and consulting. Today, I'm excited to have a conversation with you about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is chronic stress. We won't be long, but we're going to be strong this morning because it's important that you recognize just because we're in a new month does not mean that you have to take new stressors into this month with you. What up, Jay? Thank you for joining. So, oftentimes, particularly around the holidays, we add a lot of extra stress trying to quote unquote prepare for the holidays. But here's the thing I want to invite you to in 2025. If it's going to cause you additional stress and you're already stressed, okay, consider having a conversation with yourself to determine if you want to add that extra stress. Now, if you do, you carry on and carry forward because what I'm not going to do is worry about your level of stress if you're not going to be concerned about it. But I think all too often, we place a lot of undue burden, undue stress on ourselves without even seeking or asking for the support and help of others who are around us who may be very well willing to help. So today our topic is chronic stress. Chronic stress. If you're with me, type that in the comments. Chronic stress, the silent hijacker. And I'm just going to talk about three quick things that I want you to hear and kind of resonate with you and let me know your thoughts about as we roll into the holiday season. And then number two, as we close out 2025, getting ready for 2026, is there something different that you want to do? Is there a new practice that you want to uphold in 2026 so that you're not carrying the thing that really is silently killing you? And chronic stress, like let's get a little quick definition right quick. You have acute stress, which acute stress is normal, okay? Stress is normal. And so I know a lot of times we have this language like, oh, don't let them stress you out. Don't let them stress you out. But acute stress is normal. Say, for instance, you go outside and you're getting ready for work. You go outside and your tires on flat. Like you're going to have this elevated rush. Your cortisol is going to rush. You're going to go into a mode where I got to do something about this. Or you have a situation, acute stress, you have a new job, you have a new position, and you have a level of stress that's coming with that because you're trying to learn a new job, learn a new role, give yourself time, give yourself permission to figure these things out. So there is a normal level of stress. Or if you are trying a new workout routine and you're kind of anxious, am I going to get these techniques correct before my coach be fussing at me? All right. And so acute stress, that is short term. There's an end in sight. And so you can, good morning, thank you for joining. Y'all share this out. There's an end in sight. When you think about acute stress, like I mentioned with your tire, for example, if your tire is on flat, you walk outside in the morning, you were not anticipating your tire being on flat. So your cortisol is going to rise. What up, what up? Thank you for joining. So your cortisol is going to rise when that tire is on flat. However, what you know is that either I have the funds to replace my tire or I'm gonna have to reach out to somebody who's gonna, be my lifeline and help me with that. Acute stress, type that in the comments. Acute stress is normal. Matter of fact, it's even healthy. Some level of acute stress is healthy for us. So, but what we don't want in our life, what we don't want to continue with, and that is chronic stress. When I'm talking about chronic stress, and this is what I want you to be able to differentiate to know where you are and what steps you need to take. Acute stress has an end in sight. Type that in the comments. Acute stress has an end in sight. It is short term, new job, tie on flat. Maybe you got a new baby. Maybe you got a new spouse. Maybe you're in a new relationship. You're trying to figure this thing out. You have a level of anxiety. That's fairly normal. You got a new car. You're trying to figure out all the gadgets. That's normal. So, again, acute stress is short term. Where we come with the problem, where we come with the concern, and that is chronic stress. Chronic stress lasts 3 months or longer. You're in an intense situation and it's lasting 3 months or longer. What happens is your body is in fight or flight mode all the time. We were not designed to be in that level of raised cortisol level that length of time. So chronic stress is 3 or more months. If you're in a situation and you are having tension headaches, fatigue, exhaustion, and there is literally no end in sight, there's a choice that you have to sit down. You have to have a conversation with yourself. Sometimes we just in autopilot thinking that we're doing the most, like, oh, this is how I operate. I thrive well under pressure. Like, do you really? Your body's not designed to thrive well under pressure all the time. And so we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Let's talk about these holidays, like the silent high. Listen, let me give you this freebie on a Friday, y'all. Let me give you all this freebie on Friday. Thank y'all. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Thank you all for joining. Listen, in November, unfortunately, sometimes we come around and it's the holiday season. We love to gather. I love to gather. I love to gather with my family for the holidays. Whoever's hosting, tend to be the person with the most pressure. That can be short term. But if you're that person who's been thinking about Thanksgiving, thinking about preparing for the holidays, stressing yourself out, ma'am, sir, is it worth you going into that level of stress? We shouldn't, I invite you to consider in enlisting those around you so that your stress can go down. Some of y'all invite the stress. Some of y'all don't want. Now, I'm not talking about the auntie that can't cook. I ain't talking about her or the uncle that can't cook. I'm talking about some of y'all have families who can throw down, but you don't want to eat their food, so you stress yourself out staying up for 3 days trying to get everything together. So let's think about that. That's just a small thing I want y'all to think about going into this holiday season. Like, do you really have to do everything and wear this badge of honor? We just talked about that badge of honor. So let's take a look at this thing, because here's the facts. Here are the facts real quick. Here are the facts. The holidays is just an easy one. It's just an easy one. That should be short term. That should be acute. It should be short term. It should be acute. If you love to host, fine. I'm not telling you not to host your holiday meal. But if you're stressed out about it for 3 or 4 months, is it worth it? I'm just saying. And so let me just give you all some stats for your own awareness. 75% of adults, that's 1 in 4, report chronic stress, headaches, which includes headaches. If you have a headache at least 3 or 4 days a week, red flag, something to think about. If you're fatigued, I'm not talking about regular tired when you get off work. I'm talking about bone tired, exhausted every day when you get off work, or every day after you have, been around in an environment that apparently is no longer serving you. If you are fatigued every day and it's pulling on you in such a way that's causing you to want to crawl up on the couch, not even make it to your bed, go crawl up on the couch, bundle up, and don't move for a couple of hours because you are just that fatigued. If you are having digestive issues and you trying to figure out what is going on in my stomach, why can't I what is really going on? Stress shows up in our bodies in a number of different ways. If you're having digestion problems, if you are having trouble sleeping, sometimes we think that trouble sleeping is, oh, I'm just, that's just how I am. But your body is responding to what we're putting on it. Our bodies respond to what we put on it. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score, and it's more related to a lot of trauma. But I want you to understand your body is keeping score of everything. If you are in a toxic relationship, or if you are in a situation with no end in sight, if you are in a work-related situation that you're not working to put together strategies, you can't just quit your job. I'm inviting you to start to assess where you are. If you're having frequent headaches, that is not normal. You don't want an aneurysm. You don't want to have a massive heart attack. You got family that's still here waiting on you to do whatever you're going to do. You do not want to be in a position where you're so chronically stressed you don't even recognize it, because we like to think that we're thriving. We like to think that I work best under pressure. No, you don't. Nor you don't. That is something that we've told ourselves so that we can stay in this elevated state. Our bodies are not designed to stay in an elevated state all the time. We're just not designed to do that. We've done that by default. Just because it's normal does not make it okay. Just because we're normalizing something does not make it okay. I want to invite you into a space to start taking some time to evaluate, is this thing causing me chronic stress? How do I know if it's causing me chronic stress? One, do I have an increased number of headaches? Two, am I exceptionally fatigued? I'm not talking about average tired. Like, everybody get tired. Like, I'm serious. Like, everybody get tired. I get tired. I wake up on 1,000, but I get tired sometimes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deep rooted. It affects your emotions. It affects your psychological. It affects your physical. It affects your sleeping. If you're not sleeping well at least 4 or 5 nights a week, and you're constantly waking up, or you're just constantly having a hard time going to sleep, backtrack your day, backtrack the last 5 days. Like, I'm going to invite y'all to start doing a weekly assessment. We like to check in on ourselves every quarter. Oh, it's a new season. Let me check in on myself. No, start checking in on your well-being every week. You shouldn't be going 3 months without knowing how you doing. Let's stop that practice. That's a common practice that we have. We roll into a new season. We want to see what's going on. The last quarter, how it worked. When it comes to work, now you may want to do that with your financial goals. You may want to do that with your workout goals. You may want to do that with your, with your work goals. But I want to invite you to not put your health on a quarterly check-in. First of all, I want you to start checking in generally with yourself every day. How am I doing? How am I being? How am I feeling? Did what I do yesterday work for me? Or if it didn't, what am I going to do different today? Real simple. Check in with yourself every single day. Good morning, sweetheart. Thank you for joining. Thank you. And then on a weekly basis, because chronic stress is running rampant. I know way too many people who are burned out and who are under a lot of stress, chronically stressed, are really having a difficult time even thinking, even concentrating. There's no clarity. There is no sense of purpose anymore. I don't want that to be you. So invite yourself into this space. Check in with yourself this weekend. Like, truly check in with your well-being. Am I in a position where I am under a lot of duress? And if you are under a lot of duress, if you are under a lot of stress, then what am I going to do about it? Now that I have this awareness, sometimes we're not even aware. Sometimes we just pull up and show up because that's just who we are. That's how I roll. Pump the brakes, pause, and slow down. That used to be me. Let me raise my hand. Let me raise both my hands. That used to be me, on the go all the time. But I've been in a place these last several weeks of rest, like really reintroducing rest into my life. I wasn't chronically stressed, but I'm reintroducing rest as a result of overextended busyness. Like, there is no badge of honor in being busy and burned out. So when we think about chronic stress, and I say 1 in 4, if there are 4 people on here, then one of y'all is experiencing chronic stress right now. And what we don't want is for you to have long-term effects of chronic stress. Coach Regina, what are you talking about? It's not just an emotional place that we sit in when you find yourself in a just constant place of stress and burden. Again, some that we add to ourselves, some that is sort of kind of inflicted on us that we then do not make a decision about. We're going to talk about just some practical stuff. We don't want to make it complicated. We don't want to make it difficult. And so your body goes into what we call survival mode, fight or flight. Like, if you're in a stressful state, your body's trying to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And so what happens is, when we go into this fight or flight place, your body starts to release extra cortisol. Y'all have heard about cortisol. They call it the stress hormone. You have heard about cortisol. What happens with cortisol is that it raises a couple of things. It raises your blood pressure, which we don't want. So let's think about this. If your blood pressure is, and you're on medication, if your blood pressure is still not managed on medications and you are relatively eating in a way that would support you having a better blood pressure reading, what are some other factors that could be contributing to that? What we know is that chronic stress, it affects your body. And so what's going on the inside shows up in your blood pressure. Not only does it show up in your blood pressure, but it shows up, it raises your blood sugar. So you're trying to figure out, when you talk about that stubborn belly fat that y'all trying to get rid of, if you're chronically stressed, all the kale and exercise won't help you at all. If you are chronically stressed, and you can type that in the chat, if you are chronically stressed and your body is constantly releasing cortisol, that is your stress hormone, raises your blood sugar, it causes inflammation, it causes swelling. Then you're trying to figure out, why in the world can't I lose weight? Yeah. So stress shows up in our body in a number of ways. It's not just an emotional thing. We want to be able to put some simple practices in place that help us, one, to reduce our level of stress. When we do that, over time, you'll find that your blood pressure will start to regulate. I keep saying that we put ourselves in situations, oftentimes we do. And I want us to begin to take responsibility for the things that we can take responsibility for. Take ownership of your health. I'm inviting you, and type this in the comments, I'm inviting you to show up and be the CEO of your health in every area. I'm not just talking about going to the gym. I'm not just talking about eating all the kale, because eating all the kale and going to the gym will not erase the impact of chronic stress. That's going to require you sitting down, having a conversation with yourself, doing that well-being check-in. It's okay to check in with yourself. Like, I've been checking in with myself, trying to see how I'm doing. Why? Because we stay in go mode, because we feel like we operate better under pressure. Let's remove that faulty thinking. That's how we've operated. And oftentimes we operate like that mainly because other people benefit from all of our doing and going. When you slow down, I guarantee those around you who feel like they can't do it without you and causing you all this stress, they'll figure it out. They will figure it out. So, number one, stress isn't just about an emotional place. Stress shows up in your body. Type this in the comments. It shows up, it raises your blood pressure. It raises your blood sugar, and it causes inflammation. Check your body parts. Check your body parts. Check the ankles. Check the hands. Check your body parts. Check your hands. You're trying to figure out check your belly. Cortisol. So I want you all to do a well-being check-in with yourself. Unfortunately, when we live in this place of high anxiety, high stress for so long, we take on again this badge of honor and feel like we're thriving. And unfortunately, our bodies are suffering when we do that. So this is your invitation to pause, a serious invitation to pause and check in with yourself. Have I been sleeping well? Have I been having frequent headaches? Even when I take a nap, am I still exhausted and do not feel like have not recovered anything? Think about that. That's just something that I want you to think about. Chronic stress affects your sleep. It affects your eating. It affects how you connect with other people. So let's just have that brief little conversation. When you're under all this pressure all the time, like I said, acute stress is normal. Acute stress, there's an end in sight. I mean, something happens, you got to address whatever that something is. Something may have happened to a family member. You're gonna have some anxiety about that. That may have you some tension and some stress. But then we live in that place. When we live in that place too long, and acute stress without an end date can actually turn into chronic stress and have long-term impacts on your health. And we normalize that. And I want us to stop normalizing what is not normal. It is not normal for it is not normal for you to live in a state of fight or flight all the time. That's not normal. It is not normal for a person to not to be able to sleep. Like 5 days a week, you having trouble sleeping. Do not be afraid to pump the brakes and pause and start to ask yourself what's going on. And if you need a medical provider, follow with your medical provider. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor and find out what's going on with you, right? Let me give y'all a holiday example. We're coming up on the Thanksgiving time. Pressure. Sometimes people have to perform for their families. Like, you got to get all this stuff. Everything got to be perfect. If they come over here, you got to be, y'all be putting yourself through the most, right? And if you're the one that continues to put yourself through the most, I just come back and ask you, is it worth it? What we don't want, you done prepare all that food for your family, stressed yourself out for months. You sit on the couch, fall asleep, and don't wake up. Didn't realize that your blood pressure was that high because you're trying to be perfect. You're trying to create this perfect environment that you will not enjoy. I know that it sounds a little grim, but the reality of it is heart attacks are taking us out left and right every single day, all day long. Chronic stress raising your blood pressure, you may not see the look of somebody whose blood pressure has been raised. Like, oh, they look fine. If you're not a medical provider, or if you're not somebody who's been around a person a long period of time to know what their little indicators are, you don't know. So I'm trying to prepare y'all. Do not put yourself in these situations this holiday season. If you are in a place where you are the one who is, I like to call it the go-to person, evaluate your capacity. What can you divvy up? What can you share with other people to take some of your load off? Check in with yourself more frequently. Type that in the comments. I'm going to check in on myself. Check in with yourself. Y'all be checking in on everybody else. Today, check in on yourself. It's Figured Out Friday. What I done figured out is that you check in on everybody else. Some of y'all text and call people every day to see how they doing, to do a well-being check on them. But when was the last time you did a well-being check on yourself? I'm not even asking you when was the last time somebody did a well-being check on you. I want you to start doing well-being checks on yourself. So let's wrap this puppy up real simple, real quick. Here are 3 things I want you to start practicing that'll help you reduce your stress. All right. Number 1, every 90 minutes, I don't care if you're working or not, if you're retired or if you volunteer, if you're in the workspace, every 90 minutes, I want you to do a B&B. Type that in the comments, B&B. That's breathe and break. Breathe and break. I want you to take a 60-second break and to breathe. That will help to reset your body chemistry. Like, if you're a person who are responsible for other people or just at work, period, you don't even have to be a supervisor. And if you're constantly going, you going here, you going there, you answer the phone, you're responding to emails, you on a 90, not 90, you on 1,000 all the time. Like, you're constantly being responsive. I'm inviting you to set you a timer. Set you a timer. Y'all got these little fancy devices. Set it on your watch. Set it on your phone. Every 90 minutes, I need you to pause. Do your 4 count. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. A 60-second round will reset your body chemistry. Do this breath work. They give you a 15-minute break on the job. I'm only asking you to take 60 seconds to stop and breathe. Breathe and break. Stop and breathe and break. That's number 1. That is going to help to reset your body chemistry. Like, if you practice that right now, you're going to feel in your body a sense of calm coming over you, right? Number two, y'all know I can't leave out number two. I want you to add one stress fighting food. You probably didn't know there are certain few foods that help you to combat stress. I want you to add one stress fighting food to your meal every day. I need you to start eating at least one stress fighting. If you have more than one, awesome. This may be new to somebody, so don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself, okay? Over time, consistency over time, increasing your practices. So let me give you an example. Greens. Do not put all them fat backs, all and bacon juice in your greens, okay? That's not gonna help your blood pressure. Certainly ain't gonna help your stress. I'm giving you the look. So add one stress fighting food to your meals. Any type of greens, okay? Without all the extra. Number two, in that, your berries, your strawberries, your blueberries, your blackberries. They're high in antioxidants and they're very good for you, okay? They are low on the glycemic load. So let me stop using all that language you may not know anything about. All you need to know is add your berries. I'm sorry about that. Add your berries. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, okay? And then oats. I know people don't like oatmeal, okay? There are other types of oats, but I want you to make sure that you start adding oats. When you think about it like this, and you got to find something that you like. If you don't like oatmeal, no problem. You might like these berries. I want you to incorporate one stress fighting food into your meals. And then another one will be your nuts. But let me tell y'all something about the nuts. If you are on a weight loss journey, eliminate that. Don't add the nuts because they just fat. Okay, they're healthy fat, but nevertheless, they're not gonna be supporting your weight loss journey. I want to throw that. I want to throw that tip out there. Coach Regina said I can have these nuts. No, if you're on a weight loss journey and you got a coach, I'm sure they're telling you whatever they need to tell you. And that's one thing that I share with my clients. You can have a limited amount of nuts, but we don't know how to do that. We get the thing, baby, we get them nuts, and here we go. We'll throw them in there. Baby, we knock them back. So once we get them nuts, we just started packing them down. So if you're on a weight loss journey, I'm not asking you to invite that stress fighting food. You look at the oats. You look at the berries. You look at the greens, okay? All right? And then number three, this is a big one for me. And this is a big one for you all. Learn to protect your peace. Number one was take your breathe, your B&B, your breathe and break every 90 minutes for 60 seconds. Number two, we're going to add at least one stress fighting food to our meals every day. Berries, greens, nuts, but not if you're on a weight loss journey. And then your oats. And so there are others, but those are just a few that I wanted to share with you all. And then number three, in order to help you to reduce your stress at any level, whether it's acute stress or chronic stress, then protect your peace. That's number three. What do you mean by protecting my peace? If you do not have a morning routine, I want you to start your morning with a morning routine. Set your atmosphere. Begin to command your day. If you're a believer and you spend time in the Word, take that quiet time, that uninterrupted time before you start your day. Set your parameters, set your intentions for the day. Today I will have a whatever it is day, and then set your parameters for that. Have your personal protected peace time every single day. Have your personal protected peace time every single day. Learn to protect your peace, okay? When I'm talking about protecting your peace, starting your day in a meditative state, you can do some breath work. Some people, they do journaling. If you're not a journaler, don't be like, I don't do that. Fine. Don't do that. If you rather sit in quiet, if you rather start your day on your back porch, just listening to God's goodness, watching God's goodness, fine. Start your morning with protected peace. Thank you for joining me this morning at 6 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. You know, you may have already had your meditative state, but I'm inviting you to protect your peace, that's also going to include you setting healthy relational boundaries. Type that in the comments. Protecting my peace also means setting healthy relational boundaries. And when I say relational, I'm talking about a relational with yourself. Like you got to put these boundaries and parameters in place and then honor them. I want you to share your expectations with other people because if you don't share that you are putting things in place, they don't know that. Like, girl, why you don't want to do that for me? Don't make excuses. Just let the folks know. Just let the folks know, okay? Let them know, all right? And so setting healthy boundaries, right? That's what I have for you all this morning. Those couple of things. Chronic stress, we normalize it. It is not normal to be under duress with your blood pressure rising, your blood sugar rising, not able to sleep, chronically fatigued, exhausted to the point of just not having no energy to do anything, even on the weekends. Like you just so exhausted you can't even move on the weekends. That's a problem. And so, my invitation to you today is to create a weekly check in where you are actually really evaluating how your week went from that standpoint. What was your wellness like from that standpoint? That's not anything that we practice on a common basis. So, that's my invitation to you is to start having a well-being check-in, a wellness check-in with yourself every single week. But every day do a self check-in. What's up? How you doing, girl? I'm doing good. I'm not doing good. And if you're not doing good, let me also invite you into this space. If you're in a space where if you're not well, whatever that looks like for you, physically well, mentally well, do not suffer in silence. There is no reason for anyone to suffer in silence. If you have a community that can support you, lean into your community. That's what they're for. Don't feel like you're a burden to somebody. I don't want to burden you with my problems. If someone say I'm available for you, you give them an opportunity to tell you no. You don't say no on their behalf, okay? And I'm not talking about necessarily a coach. This is not about coaching. This is all about your wellness and your well-being for the quality of your life. If you have family that supports you, or if you don't have family that supports you, do you have an ecosystem? And an ecosystem ain't nothing but people that you vibe with. Who's your tribe? Who you get down with? Who you eat lunch with? Who you eat dinner with? Who you hang out with? Who are your people? Do you have people that can support you? Okay? Because I don't want nobody suffering in silence going into this holiday season. And we'll continue to talk more about that because the holidays can be a hard time. And we'll just talk about some more of that because some seasonal things. We'll talk about that later. But today I just wanted to lean into you all real quick as we're getting ready to close out this year. It's been a very hard year for a lot of people and the level of stress that people have experienced and not knowing what to do with it. Simple things are pause, slow down, check in on yourself. Do you need to continue doing all the things that you're doing? That may mean no, and it may mean yes. It may mean employing other people to support you. And I want you to be okay with verbalizing what your needs are. That's important. One of the things that we strong in the people do is don't verbalize what our needs are. It is okay to have a need and you have community to support you in that way. All right? Okay? That's what I have for you this morning. Do you have any takeaways from this conversation today? Just because chronic stress is common, does not mean it's okay and does not mean that it is normal. Let's stop normalizing things that shouldn't be normalized and do the work to resolve it. All right. I will be dropping information in the comments, in the chat, more about how you can reduce and eliminate your chronic stress. And so one thing, if you are in a place and you are chronically stressed, I'm going to just message me and I have more information that I can share with you about that. Okay. Thank you all for joining me this morning. You don't have to be long to be strong. Shout out to Coach Cassie of Black Women Do Heal. That is one of her signature statements. You do not have to be long to be strong, right? So hopefully you have gained some insights this morning. It's nothing earth-shattering. It's things that we know to do. They will oftentimes we just simply don't take the time to pause, break, breathe, and think about. At some point in your life, I want you to I want you to become unbothered. Y'all see this t-shirt? I want you to become unbothered at some point. I was intentional with wearing this t-shirt. Shout out to DSW Solutions for providing me with this merch. DSW, that's going to be DSW Solutions. Thank you for providing me with this merch. At some point in your life, you want to become unbothered by things. That'll help you to reduce and eliminate your stress. At some point in your life, get to the, oh, okay. Stop arguing with people. Stop putting yourself in positions where you already know you walking into a lion's den that you don't want to fight that bad, that saber-tooth tiger. Okay, don't do that. Right? Think about your wellness. That's my message for you today. Think about your wellness. Chronic stress shows up in your body. It's not just like you run on 1,000 all the times. Check your bodily functions, your sleep, your eating, your digestion. So these are things I want you to start thinking about, okay? It's been a blast. It's been a ball. Thank you all for joining me on this Figured Out Friday. What I have figured out is that we need to start pausing and breathing and breaking more often. That's your assignment for the week. Pull up next week with me next Friday. We're going to continue to talk about chronic stress as we roll out this year. We'll drop a few more tips and tools for you to use. Daily practical tools. So thank you so much for joining. Make sure you share this out. If you know someone who could benefit from a few tips to help them mitigate their stress levels, it's your girl, Coach Regina. We're doing Life Well coaching and consulting, pulling up to offer you information that can improve the quality of your life. I will talk to you all later. Have the most well day and well weekend. Thank you for joining.